did it make you feel? I mean, you know Ben, right? How did it make you feel?
I think I don't think I know. It really hit me when I saw that last picture of him when he was walking in
Walking down
that
the hall.
tunnel.
Yeah.
That right there is iconic. Someone needs to put that on a painting, and then if I'm Ben, I'd sell it as NFT. But no, that's when it really hit me. Coming from scouting him to drafting him, for him to getting 2 Super Bowls with me and for me, and without those 2 Super Bowls, I most likely and probably wouldn't had a chance to be a general manager. I owe a lot to him, and it really hit me like, hey, I was a part of history, a part of something that will transcend my lifetime in the in the annals of Pitt history.
Tell me if I'm too naive about all this, but it hit me in similar to the same way it hit you when you see him walking away with his family, right? That being of a certain age, and I'm only a couple years younger than Ben, or older than Ben, pardon me, I kind of grew up from a young, dumb, early to mid 20-something, hanging out on the South Side, doing stupid stuff, to a father and a husband and somebody in their late 30s, early 40s, almost in lockstep as he did the same. And we watched him sort of mature and his career progress, even though it didn't come with Super Bowls in the latter half of it. That's what did it for me, is that, if you would have asked me 12, 13 years ago, I would have never seen that part of Ben Roethlisberger coming. And again, maybe it's all just public perception and public persona, but that's all I got to go on because I don't know the guy personally. That part of it, the growing up, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it, of Ben Roethlisberger over the last dozen years is what caught me by surprise more than anything.
And that's the biggest issue I have with a lot of not only media, but fans. These guys are coming in as young adults. And guess what? Young adults with a lot of money, a lot of fame, a lot of people pulling at them, a lot of people giving them everything, and a lot of people asking them. And I'm not saying I condone his actions when he was younger, but I'm also saying I could kind of understand. I couldn't imagine how I would have been being a rookie coming from a small town in Ohio, getting drafted in the first round, and then going 15-0 in a crazy city like Pittsburgh. Not only Pittsburgh, but nationally, you're a rookie phenom.
So and then winning the Super Bowl.
And then winning
later.
the Super Bowl the second year. So again, I'm not condoning, but I'm also, like you, Chris, saying that is the cycle of life, and you like to see that maturity, and that's another thing that's a feather in his cap.
Okay, so you scouted him yesterday. I asked Mary Kay Cabot, who's covered the Browns forever, and she about were the Browns ever close to drafting Ben, and she told a story about Terry Robisky, right, very respected guy, who scouted him, worked him out, and said that he had heavy legs, and that's why the Browns said they couldn't draft him, because he had heavy legs. So what are heavy legs, and did you find the same thing? Obviously not.
Heavy legs are legs that people that walk around, you hear them from 10 miles away because they just ground pounders, and guys that just aren't agile or quick. We didn't see that, obviously not. But that's the crazy thing about scouting. It's subjective. You can see the same player that I see and see him totally different. And that's what makes scouting such a tough profession.
Well, I don't know how anybody. Well, yeah, I guess. I mean, he didn't carry that weight at that time.
No, he was still pretty agile.
Right.
Yeah.
That's just if you're Cleveland and you hear that, and Mary Kay Cabot is as respected as there is in the NFL in her reporting. She got and Terry Robisky is a very respected man. You know, he just is. And he admits we missed on Ben Roethlisberger. You've got to just be kicking yourself as a Browns fan that you had that 18 years that Pittsburgh just realized.
With a hometown kid.
With somebody from Ohio, and you screwed it up over a bad evaluation? My gosh.
And I'll tell you this.
The Browns is the Browns.
There's no excuse.
But there is a saying in scouting, if you haven't missed, you haven't scouted.
That bad, though?
Yeah.
I mean, that bad?
Yeah.
I wouldn't admit it with Robisky. I'd just say.
Or I would come up with a better excuse.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't think because him coming from the MAC that he'd be able to transition, and we had Eli rated better and Rivers. I'll tell you this much. On our board, the only reason we had Eli rated above Ben was just because of his lineage. and he played in the SEC and Ben played in the MAC.
Where'd you have Sean Andrews?
Sean Andrews? Ooh.
Because that was the one that was up for debate between Cowher and the ownership group, right?
Yeah. I can't remember where we had him. That was
if Eli and Ben had both been available, you're telling me the trigger would have been pulled on Eli?
I think the trigger would have been pulled on Eli.
Wow.
Just because, again, now Eli has 2 Super Bowls as well, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can't really say it would have been a bad pick. But we were, again, we didn't think anybody would
Did you go into that draft everybody knowing we're if there's a quarterback available, we're going quarterback here?
Oh, yeah, we were going quarterback. But we had resigned ourselves to the fact that we were getting Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
Because we thought out of those 3, everybody would have had him rated 3rd. So, again, when Phillip went, and I think Cowher said this, the room went silent because we were all looking around because you had cameras in them. Like, wait a minute. People playing jokes on us? Are we getting caught here? And then when we realized it, we just all erupted. And like Cowher said, it was probably 10 seconds we had that car turned in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
great stuff.
That's also an example of why you guys had it not bottom out, but the year before, right? If you guys don't have all those offensive line injuries and everything else, you're not 6-10.
People are afraid to win 6 games. That's how they got Ben Roethlisberger.
You got to take some pain to take a step back to go 10 feet forward. You just got to, especially when you're looking for quarterbacks.